Hello, everyone. Good to be back. I'm really happy to announce our next speaker, Fred, and I'm absolutely sure I'll pronounce his name wrong. Vieilledent from France. He has made a solution application, iKinesis, based on sensor technology. He has created this running application that doesn't only tell you how much you've run, what you've done, but also adjust or analyzes your technique, so you can adjust it to prevent injury. I would like to give the word to Fred, and I hope you enjoy his talk.
So, I'm Frédéric. So in French we say Vieilledent. I created iKinesis 1 year ago. I'm physical therapist from 40 years, since 40 years, and I'm specialized in sports injuries. So during my professional practice, I realized that many tools have not been updated or are not accessible, particularly the movement analysis tools, which are essential to the comprehension of the movement. That's why we thought about a tool, intuitive, easy to use, and able to analyze the movement in 3 dimensions, to objective the movement, to help us to diagnose, to bring us information, and to bring to the coach and to the athletes information for prevention and performance. So iKinesis, start here. So each activity is a succession of movements that can be analyzed to improve the performance and reduce the risk of injuries. Each sport is a succession of movements. For example, this running, you can analyze all movement, all joint moments in degrees. Each parameters can be analyzed, like foot strike, like kinetics parameters, etc. So for each parameter can be analyzed, and it's very important for it. Okay, that's and to prevent and to improve the movement, we have to understand the movement. First, some definition to be sure what we talk about. So the WHO say the prevention is a set of measures to avoid or reduce the risk and severity of diseases, accidents, and disabilities. There is 3 types. The primary prevention, this is a set of actions to reduce the incidence of disease. The secondary prevention, set of actions to limit the risk of disease. And third, to limit the complication and recurrence. And performance, in French, the result in a specific field obtained by someone or a machine. So it's just for, okay. For now, today, there are some different ways to get the analysis of movements. Optical systems like Vieilledent, video system with our smart devices, for example, and global IMU system like Xsens. And all these systems are limited by the area, are limited by the difficulty to use of them, to use them. For example, video, you have to be filmed by someone. The optical system, there is a small area of analyzing of the movements. System of IMU, global IMU is expensive. It's difficult to use in daily life, in daily practice. So they can't be used by everyone and everywhere. That's the problem. They are not really ecological. This is the problem. We don't have a simple ecological and autonomous 3D motion analysis tool. So how can we analyze a movement in 3 dimensions easily? The implication of this lack is for prevention. We have a lack of data, daily, quality, lack of understanding. We can't understand the movement with a good quality of movement in ecological system, the lack of supervision for performance, the lack of individualization of training session, misunderstanding of feelings. We already meet somebody tell, I can't feel the movement today. I don't know why, but I can do it and I don't know. So what is the difference between the day where he can and the day where he can't? So for now, we can't objective this. And for scientific research, another implication very important, because the lack of motion analysis solution in ecology it's a problem for understand the movement for prospective study. We have high barriers for prospective studies and high barriers for large cohort studies. So we thought about iKinesis. We are using Xsens Dot, a single Xsens Dot on the feet or on the limb we have to analyze. And this is a real-time 3D motion control device via an application connected from this dot. This is accessible and affordable for everyone. This is intuitive. We can use everywhere, every time. How it works? iKinesis is a combination. It's a high resolution sensor, the Xsens Dot, an artificial intelligence, and a scientific expertise. These three types is combined to make iKinesis. And the artificial intelligence is a solution based on a state-of-art of machine learning. So we are using a machine learning to predict the measure of the joint moments and make a 3D analysis, 3D reproduction. And we have a lot of estimation, speed, slope, and other parameters I will talk about just after. So, for example, here we have an iKinesis 3D replay. So from my iPhone, actually, VS video. And you can see, so I'm running on my treadmill. This is me on the left, and I have a capsule, so the Xsens Dot on the right foot. And you can see the analysis, the reproduction of iKinesis in 3 dimensions from the application. On the right side is from my phone. And this is only from one sensor. You can see this is really symmetric. Okay, and this analysis after running can be more precise. For here you can see on this what happened when you make the analyze from the application. You can see the replay here on the slow motion, fast motion, or normal motion, and here you can see the analysis. You can have all joint moments on degrees, hip, knee, ankle. You can see just after contact time, flight time, etc. Pronation, and it's cut in 4 parts. 4 parts. The first 4 periods. First here, second, third, fourth, and here you can see the mean of the average of each stride per period. So you can compare between the beginning and the end of your run. You can see on the graph. So this is all the analysis we can do with the iKinesis system. You can see flight time, cadence, duty factor, etc. I will talk about it just after. Okay, so you will ask to me, what is the accuracy of the system? For now, we don't have a validation from scientific literature we are working with Paris-Saclay, the University of Paris-Saclay in France, and they are working on the validation. Actually, we did some comparison, of course, with Xsens Analyze, MVN Analyze, and we have around 3 degrees of error per join. So it's a very high precision with a single sensor. It's just prediction. Here you can see. I don't know if you can see in a large screen, but for example, here you can see the purple curve is the reality is the MVN analyzed, and the blue curve is the prediction from our system. And you can see another one just to explain it. And we have an accuracy very, very important. So what can we do with Xsens, with iKinesis? The first use case is RunUp, is the tool just explained before, and this tool can have a lot of features for running, for prevention, for performance, for coach, for professional, health professional, or for runners. So why running? Because running is 60,000,000, 621,000 million of runners worldwide, and 16 million in France. 91% of runners say they run without supervision, and 1 in 2 get injured every year. So it's very a huge problem in sports. That's why we start with running. So it's exactly the iKinesis capsule. So we have a holder to block the sensor on the shoe in the laces, and you have the capsule inside. First, you have to put the capsule on the shoe and just run. You have to start your application like a running application. You don't have to do nothing, just running. We have speed, distance, the same data from Strava or other. And in the background, the application will make a data collection, and the intelligence will analyze it to make a data to make the analysis and the joint movements, make the interpretation directly on the phone, and an individual training according to the interpretation. And you can have a coaching according to it, and run again, and the book. So about the iKinesis parameters. First, spatio-temporal. The first is cadence. Normal, it's simple. Contact time, flight time, duty factor, stride length. That's the first parameters. The more important parameters is the 3D kinematics. For now, we can analyze the hip flexion and extension, knee flexion and extension too, ankle the same. And the hip, we have flexion, we have adduction and rotation soon. We are training our intelligence to predict the adduction and rotation too, but not available for now. We can determine the foot strike if you are heel foot, mid foot, forefoot, and the foot eversion. The foot eversion, we determine 3 parameters on it. This is the range of the motion, the motion range, the speed motion, and the peak of the speed, because eversion is not only the range, is 3 parameters, these 3 parameters. And third, we have kinetics, leg stiffness and joint stiffness, impact force. It is in fact, actually in the estimation, and we can study the differences between each stride, like variability of each movement, of each amplitude, etc., and the symmetry between right and left. So, what can we do with that? What can we? How can we interpret it? First, the stress area. So the application will understand directly. We have algorithm on the application able to determine which part of your body is impacted by your running kinematics. For example, I try the application on my patients a lot, and every time we can found the problem of my patient on the application just with the analysis of iKinesis. So here we can see plantar fascia, patella. We have I think 23 part of the lower limb able to be predict like a stress area. This is not the an area where you can be injured, but this is where there is a lot of stress. This is according to the biomechanic principles. For example, when you're running on the foot, you're stressing the plantar fascias, the patella, this Achilles tendon, etc., etc. So what can we do with the stress areas? We can make injury prevention, because we know we are stressing this area. We know that our patient or our athletes is stressing patella, for example. So we will make a training session about this problematic, not to change the running profile, but to change to limit the risk from this running profile. So this is a very important, because the application will be able to give advice according to the stress area. Second point, we can analyze the fatigue, because we have a lot of literature, scientific literatures on it. The fatigue can be determined by different parameters. First, parameters we can analyze, so not inside, but only on external parameters. So biomechanics is we can see a modification of the biomechanics between the beginning of the run and the end with exhaustive run. So we can analyze what is the parameters is moving between the beginning and the end, and adapt the fatigue index according to. We can analyze too the spatiotemporal and interparameters variability. So thanks to this fatigue index, we can improve the performance and make prevention, because the application will be able to tell you in real time, okay, there is a problem. We detect a lot of fatigue, a lot of variability in your movement, or your biomechanics is moving, etc. So we can have a real-time biofeedback on it, and for the coach too, and sports professional too. And third, we have performance, because if you combine the fatigue index with the run results, we can have a performance index. Imagine you have to you are running with I don't know with the cadence of 180, for example, and the fatigue index at the end of your run is 50%, and the same your same race, exactly the same place, same time, etc. You are now running at 170. steps per minute, and your fatigue index is 70. So you can determine your performance because you are efficient. You spend less energy with your run at 170 steps per minute than 180 steps per minute. So the objective is to find the better style to perform according to your runner's profile. So you can, it's possible now to determine which style is better for you for this run, for this kind of run. Fourth, it's a real-time biofeedback. Very important to improve your performance, to understand how you're moving. I meet a lot of patients told me, oh no, I'm running on the midfoot. I don't touch the ground with my heel. And when I film them, I realized that they are running that they are attacking the ground with the heel. So they didn't believe me, and when I showed the video, they say, wow, I didn't expect that. So it's very important to have a biofeedback because we don't have all the time the good feeling on it. But you can replay your run on the application and show and see how you can move in the space, and it's very important. So this biofeedback is a very important point of the improvement of performance. And according to that, you have also the iKinesis analysis, as I already showed a few minutes ago. 5, it's an ecological tool. As I said at the beginning, we don't have ecological tool. So it means that runners and coaches and professionals can be used the tool to make an analysis. iKinesis can be used by everyone and everywhere. It's simple. You just have to synchronize the Xsens Dot on the application, put it on your shoe, and go to run. The analysis in this is in the runner's environment. That's very important. Why? Because when we make an analysis in the laboratory, for example, or in my practice office, the movement is not the same for further reasons. First, because he's watching by someone, another person is analyze the movement, so it changed the style. And second, we have to run a few times before to get natural strides. So it's not on a few minutes, it's not enough. We have to analyze hours and hours of strides to make a really very good analysis, because it's the stride become natural. And other point, very, very important for the science, for the comprehension, for the understanding of the injury, for injuries. This is the cloud, because all kinematics of all runners' kinematics will be stored in a data lake. That means we will be able to understand, to make an intelligent artificial able to determine which pattern, which movement will be a risk factor for an injury. For example, if on the 1,000 runners using iKinesis, we have 20 runners injured on the Achilles tendon, and these 20 runners have internal rotation of hip, for example. We have all the data before the the injury. So we will be able to say which factor is important for this pathology. And this is a huge point on the iKinesis research. How it works, as I said, it's an ecosystem. First, on the right, sorry, we have professional, health professional, and sport professional, and they are connected to a cloud from, for example, from a web application, and they can analyze the athletes in real time, the athletes' parameters. So on the left, you have athletes. They are running. The iKinesis make a data collection, store in the cloud, and the professional can check it to see if the athlete is will be performed, or something is wrong because he changes kinematics without reasons, etc. So there is an interactivity between athletes and professionals. And third, a big data acquisition for scientific research to improve the comprehension of pathophysiology. So this ecosystem will help to improve the performance and limit the risk of injury. So iKinesis, to resume, iKinesis is a multidisciplinary tool helping the healthcare professional to diagnose. As I said, we don't have tool for now to able to analyze the movement of a sports kinematics, treat their patient, because if we are able to make a sense and to objective the movement, we can make a good treatment, and we can supervise remotely, because the rehabilitation is not only in our office, is also outside during the training session, etc. And we can see what happened and how we can help them by other way. It can help sport professionals to coach their athletes by getting an objective analysis, to getting an interpretation, because coach are not health professionals, so it's difficult for them to understand when the athletes will is risky for injury, and supervise them remotely too, because coaching is not only on during the training session, is also on the other session without the coach. And third, it's very important point, because it's also an autonomous coach helping user to optimize their training, limit the risk of injury, improve their performance, because all the system is think to be without human supervision. It can it's two way to coach the person. Some runners, for example, some patients don't want to be supervised by me or by another coach, but another part of my patients want to be, and iKinesis is able to supervise remote by autonomous way the runners. And for the science, as I said. So this is what does iKinesis do. You can contact me, of course, on my phone and by mail, and hope everything was understandable. So, sorry for my English, it's quite difficult for me. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Fred. There are a few questions, or one question that came in, and it was, how do you eliminate conscious bias during analyzing run? How do you eliminate conscious bias during analyzing run?
I don't understand the question. Can you repeat it? Sorry.
How do you eliminate conscious bias during an analysis of a run?
I don't understand the conscious bias.
It's
I don't know if I can see the question. I can't.
I guess what's meant is that sort of how do you prevent, and please Deepak, it's your question, correct me if I'm wrong, how do you prevent that people adjust their run because they know they're being analyzed?
Okay, I have the question. Okay, so for us, we don't use a belief. I think I understand the question. Because the belief is to think we have to run at 180 steps per minute, or to run on midfoot, like running clinical or Vieilledent, for example, in France. And we can't because we can't use this think because science literature doesn't, we can't find any proof in science literature, so we don't use them, and we prefer to use only the biomechanical principles. So we can fight with the conscious bias. That's not possible. We have to educate the runners with the good way to train, and we have coaches with us aware about that. We don't want to use one way, one thing and one other one, or another one. Sorry. So I don't know if I answer to the question.
Yeah, I think it does. If I understood it correctly, you say sort of you have coaches, you're coaching the runners, and if I understand it correctly, but please correct me if I'm wrong, because you measure them all the time, it also sort of eliminates the runner adjusting their run.
This is the current. We are all the time the Xsens, the iKinesis application is analyzed in real time from a key. How do you say that? Or from the key from coaches and physical therapists from medical staff, and all protocol are according to the biomechanical principle and prevention. So we don't we are not tell you have to run like that or like that. We are telling that you run like that, so you are stressed this body's area, and for limit the risk, we will make an exercise to prevent on it, not to tell you, okay, move with another way. No, we prefer, because your body is trained to move with on this way. So I will not tell to you try to move another with another way, but I will prevent the risk of injury by exercise. Because, for example, you're running on midfoot, you're stressing your plantar fascia. I will give you exercises on your plantar fascia to reduce the risk of injury, or to improve the vital possibility. You know, like I will give you a way to limit the risk.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Besides this, there were no Oh, there's one more. One more question just came through. Can Frédéric briefly explain the approach they use to estimate the limb joint stiffness?
Okay, there is two ways to do that. First one, we are using an equation from the literature, scientific literature. I don't remember the name, but if you are interested, I can find it again. But the first way is an equation from the scientific literature, and the second way is as we know each joint moment, and we know each running window, like when you hit the ground, for example, and the braking phase, we can see what happened on your joint angles, on your joint amplitude. So we can determine with a statistical study if your stiffness, if each joint is moving like normal, sorry for the name, for the word, or if they are very strong. So if you have an amplitude of your ankle, for example, during the braking phase, 10 degrees less than the other one, the normality, the mean, the average, you have we can deduce your ankle is stiff, and we can do that for all the joint, the lower limb joint.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Fred. There's one more question. Can you measure knee range of motion with just one sensor on the foot?
Yes, we did. We are flexion extension. We don't have the rotation, of course, but flexion extension we have, and the whole the entire entire amplitude during the movement. So I don't know if I can share just my my screen to see it again, but on the on the application, you have the amplitude during all the. Okay, you can see the amplitude of each articulation in flexion extension. So the hip, knee, ankle. I don't know if I can see hip. Okay, I didn't show the knee, but it's exactly the same. We have the amplitude of each at each impact on the left, and you have the amplitude here. It's a total amplitude between each impact. So we for this runners, we have 37 degrees of amplitude during by average for the second period, and for the knee, for the hip here. For the knee, it's another one, but I don't have on the. I have ankle. I didn't show, but it's exactly the same. So we have all the amplitude of each joint in flexion extension according to the running period.
There's one coming through just now. In terms of output parameters, what's the difference between iKinesis and other commercial products like RunScribe?
Okay, RunScribe only analyze the movement of the foot. We don't have the prediction of the movement of lower limb. So RunScribe analyze the pronation on the foot, the all spatiotemporal parameters, and iKinesis determine each joint moments in amplitude and center of gravity movement too. So this is a difference. After that, we can make an interpretation of each running stride. So according to the biomechanical principle and the kinematics analysis, we can determine how you are running and which area you are stressed. So this is the difference between run scribe, for example, and us.
Okay, thanks. Another question came through. Can you show an example of foot eversion dynamically?
The foot eversion, the eversion is. I don't have a video right now. I'm looking. Yes, I have one, but I don't know if I still have. The eversion is the pronation. Actually, in running we are already talking about pronation. So the eversion is a movement a little bit complicated than pronation, because eversion will we have a plantar flexion too, and it's not only the moment when your feet go inside, it's also when the feet go inside and with a plantar flexion too. So I think I didn't make a mistake. Yes, it's like that. It's a complicated movement actually. So the eversion is the moment where your feet is going inside, because your plantar fascia is flat. I don't know how to explain it. And you have the moment where your heel will turn outside. It's a combined movement in 3 dimensions, but it's very difficult to explain right now in English and without a feet.
That I can imagine. Yeah, and I must say, for now, there are no further questions. But yeah, I would like to thank you, Frédéric, for joining us and being with us and sharing the iKinesis story. I think you're developing a great product, a really nice product, and we'll probably speak soon again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you too. Thank you very much, Rick.